All right, and welcome to episode 17, I believe, of Local to Global as TNA. I've done some changes. If you recall, I believe at the end of the last episode, or maybe toward this, in the second half of the last episode, I talked about eventually moving over to a 5 show month, so one every week, and then the big monthly one. So I'm instead going to do that now because the rate that we're going, I mean, it's been 4 years and we've gone up 15 points. By that logic, we'll get up to global. We'll get up to a Titanic, I suppose. Well, technically, huge is also international expansion, so that could also technically count. Although I'm assuming they mean Titanic. To get up to 77 in my home region, just my home region, by the way, that would be 8 years to get to 30, 16 would be 60. So 20 years, that would get me up to 75. So not exactly setting up for success. With that, being said, we need to ramp up how much popularity we're getting, and in order to do that, we need to run more shows. We need to force that popularity to go up. So in what I got planned, we're going to weekly events, and then we actually have annual stuff. Hard Justice, which is the next pay-per-view up. Bound for Glory, which I have in June. Real Life, it was October. Unbreakable in July. Slammiversary in August. Should really be in May, because that's when we got started. Destination X in September. Against All Odds in October. No Surrender in November. Final Resolution in December. Genesis in January. Lockdown in February. Turning Point in March. And Sacrifice in April. So what we're going to do now is going to be a little different. Every other one, whenever we get to the monthly, that one will do a little differently than the other ones, because essentially the monthly ones are going to have the big storyline beats, while the weekly ones are just going to be, we're going to use cheap talent that we don't normally use, put them on the show and have them wrestle. So that way it should be a cheap show to produce. We should make money on the shows, and then hopefully, have those monthly events be the bigger events. So that's the plan, and we're going to see how it goes. So I'm not really sure how the format of this is going to work now that we got 5 shows a month. So we're not jumping months anymore. So we're just going to have to see how it goes. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the first ever weekly event that we're going to do. And the ultimate idea that I have is essentially what these are going to do are going to be to build up the talent we don't normally use. We're going to get in, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Nothing of storyline consequences is going to happen at these shows. Those storyline consequences are going to be at the big shows. That's where you have the main event talent, the title matches, if there are any. They will not be on the weekly shows. We don't have the money for that. Hey, Bubba. Nothing changed here. Oh, Stacy Keibler won the women's title on SmackDown. They're having the women's title on SmackDown. Alright, so without further ado, let's get in and I can show you what I mean much more succinctly. Now here's a thing. Mickey J is $80, while Rudy is $50. So I'm going to give, for once, for the first time in company history, and I'm stunned I'm even saying this, we're giving somebody the night off. Then after that, Alpha is $200 a show. We just had to give him a pay raise. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the night off, and we're only going to use you at the big shows. 59 fans are expected for TNA Weekly Event 1. 79 if figurehead is not used. Wait. Isn't Styles my figurehead? Hold up. Simon Diamond doing your thing. You turned up late, here's a fine. Oh, Claudio and Summer are dating. Edith Skipper, Paul London are getting along well. Cool. What? Oh, God. He is having a negative effect on business. Attendances are down by 25% when he appears, and was selling 25% less merchandise than normal. Huh. We need to change that. So we're not having we a 25% penalty for having him on. All right, John, you're up. We're throwing you in. Oof. So yeah, we're doing that. That probably pissed Styles off. No, it didn't. No. Irritated. Okay, he wasn't happy. He is all that work. All that work putting him over. He was really happy about it. All right, that works in the long run. So that's not going to come back to bite us. So this is going to be one of the interesting things here is that we only need to go 45 minutes. We don't need to go an hour or anything like that or any further. So what I mean is if we go over here and we just go to like recognizable, unimportant, we don't have a road agent. Okay, so what that means... Okay, so those are the two important things. All right. How in the hell does Air Paris have a 75 psychology? You know what? I'm not even going to question it. We need to pick somebody that isn't going to cost us money. Doug? Okay, Doug, you're up. All right. Just slapdash put it together. None of this has storyline implications, except maybe the promo, where the promo would just be Styles hyping up the main event thing. So, nothing here is going to be very important to the overarching storyline, but it is going to be matches we're going to have out there, and I'll show them, but they're not going to have as much detail or as much explanation as the monthly ones. So, like right here. Sanjay Dutt defeats Colt Cabana. Less than 10 minutes with a Phoenix Splash. Colt Cabana was better. It had a better in-ring performance in that match. Lufisto took on Mika Nishio and won with a sleeper. Boring, but alright. Styles has a promo. He then wrestles Jon Moxley in a pretty damn good match. I wasn't prepared for that. Wins with the spiral tap in 14 minutes. Bam, 53. No storylines were furthered. That's fine. Address it. Styles, be happy. John, because you also had a good match out there. Financial report, boom, we made $97. So that's the hope. Is that works. We do that 4 times on the weekly, and if it's 100, that's $400 more a month we're making. That's my hope. So we'll see how it goes, because yeah, hiring the venue costs $200, but that's factored in. So we made money on that show. We only paid $210, so that actually ended up working out. Where's Doug? Doug, congratulations, you are now being a road agent. Actually, I'm gonna have you retire as a wrestler. You will not be wrestling anymore. So that went about as well. As that's not the one I wanted to hit. That went about as well as I could have hoped. Sponsorship money, $23.70, and that's continuing to go up. We'll see how much we make. Yeah, live event. One show we did $178, and we'll see if it gets any better. All right, and here we are on the second weekly event. Bobby Roode beats Shark Boy in just over 10 minutes with a fisherman suplex. Not great. He was really rusty. A 23 segment. Azumi Hyuga and Mika Nishio had a match. Mika won with a 25 match rating. Charlie Haas has a promo hyping up both his match tonight and the overarching tag team storyline going on between him and his brother and the current tag team champions, the Culture Club, one half of which he is fighting tonight. He defeats Paul London with a House of Pain in just over 15 minutes with a segment rating of 40. That leads us to a 34. There were a couple things that happened. Number one, pre-show equipment problems. Ring went to the wrong spot. Nothing that hasn't happened before. And we found out Paul London does softcore drugs. So just normal things. Normal things that, end up making a bit of a problem. We lost $2. Great. Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South both went up by 1. So they're at 6. And the only thing that happened was Michael Shane is now muscular. And it is actually the day of Hard Justice, our actual monthly pay-per-view. So a little bit more is going to happen. Look how much money we've already got from merchandise. And merchandising isn't going to cost any more. So we're actually going to see how well that shakes out, how much more money we're going to get from that. Also, how much more money we're spending on the show costs. But we will see. We'll see if any other weird things happen, like catching someone doing hard drugs. Actually, we're going to keep having Alpha gone, because Alpha costs $200. And Mickey J, you're also going to go home. We'll just stick with Rudy and Doug for now. I've heard no problems regarding Doug. There have been nothing so far. And we're just going to go with that. The venue, we're going to have 120 fans. Booking team meeting, it's just me and Simon. And he does his thing. John Cena and Daisy Hayes had to be separated after a heated argument. I'm not using either one of you two. Same thing happened to Stevens and Dutt. Well, I would hope they'd be hanging out. They're brothers. Oh, that's it. Okay. All right, here we are at the start of Hard Justice 2005, held in front of 121 people. We begin the night with a promo from the heel team, because tonight it is a #1 contenders match. But it's not a fatal 4-way. It's one of those classic, if you remember watching TNA back in the day, it's one of those classic, you start off with, 4 individuals, you start off as a tag team, and then whoever gets pinned there gets eliminated. It then goes to a triple threat match, so 1 versus 1 versus 1. Then whoever, gets beat there gets eliminated, and now it's down to a singles match. Whoever wins that gains either the title or the #1 contendership. The heel team in this instance is Chris Hero and Monty Brown, and that's what this segment is about. It's both of them essentially like bowing up to each other, saying, you stay out of my way, no, you stay out of mine. I'm better than you, no, I'm better than you. Egos clashing, of course, because Monty Brown is just such an enthusiastic and just like charisma oozes off of him. He comes out looking better. At least that's how it should be. After that, we have a tag team title match between the Culture Club and the Haas brothers, which the Culture Club win. Paul London pins Charlie Haas. However, he cheated to win, pulling up the tights and using the ropes for leverage. So immediately it's like, hey, they didn't beat us legitimately. They had to cheat to get it. It's maybe setting up another match later on because they did not win legitimately. A 45, a decent title match. I can be happy about that. We then move on. Here is the face promo where the two faces in this tag team match come up to one another. And as they're talking, it's not necessarily putting the other guy over. They're still putting themselves over. But it's more of like you have a united front here of like, hey, regardless of how it ends, because, only one person can win, let's make sure that when it gets to the end, it's me and you. So they're going to be united on that front, or at least that's how it appears to be in the promo. We'll see if that actually happens during the show. We then move on to CM Punk and Ron the Truth Killings. CM Punk defeated Ron Killings by pinfall with a top rope pedigree. A 42 match rating. Ron Killings was very rusty. He probably hasn't been in a match since we last booked him. But I digress. We then go on to the next best promo we've ever had in company history with Doug Gilbert as road agent. A 76 match rating. CM Punk announces, hadn't been announced before the match. After the match, when he beats Punk legitimately, says that was for the X Division #1 contendership. Joe doesn't have anywhere to run to. Next month at Bound for Glory, it will be Punk versus Joe in an Iron Man match. And Joe can't run anywhere. He's going to have to show his face and put his title on the line. We then go on to the first phase of the match, the tag team match. You have the face team of Nigel McGuinness and AJ Styles against the heel team of Hero and Monty Brown. And how that match ends is AJ Styles hits Chris Hero with the spiral tap, knocking him out of the running for the match. So Chris Hero, 1, 2, 3, pinned, eliminated. We then move on to the triple threat. So the first phase of that got a 54. The second phase did even better, a 58. Nigel McGuinness defeated AJ Styles and Monty Brown when Nigel McGuinness pinned Monty Brown with a pendulum lariat. So what ends up happening in this is it happens exactly like the promo said earlier. You know, whatever happens, you know, at the end when it's the one-on-one, let's make sure it's me and you when we get there. So after Hero gets eliminated, Nigel and Styles essentially have a handicap match against Monty Brown. They keep up the tag team trying to defeat Monty Brown. And to Monty Brown's credit, he lasts 10 minutes in this scenario. Eventually, it comes to an end when trying to hit the pounce on AJ Styles. He gets hit with the lariat instead. Styles goes up. He hits the spiral tap. And before anything can happen, Nigel pins Monty Brown. And he is eliminated, leaving it to just Nigel and AJ for the #1 contendership. We then move on to the final phase of this match, Nigel versus AJ. Ooh. Yikers, they have no chemistry. Oh boy. Odd booking. Needed more time. Damn. Alright, well that's on me. I should have put some more minutes. AJ Styles defeats Nigel McGuinness with the spiral tap to win the match. So AJ has won the opportunity next month to face Jeff Jarrett for the technically the NWA World Heavyweight title and the TNA World Heavyweight title. That is the end of the show. That is a 44. Best segment goes to Punk. The best match was the second phase of that #1 contendership scenario, a 58 for Nigel, AJ, and Monty. Not a bad scenario, although you know who's getting it. It's Punk and AJ. Oh my god, we made money on that? Even with spending $200 on Ron the Truth Killings? Yo, I'm happy about that. Yo, Great Lakes and Midwest went up by 1 too. We're eating good in the neighborhood. This is great. Well, damn, I can't be mad about that. Alright, at the beginning of the third event, we actually have 80 people now instead of 79. Lufisto takes on Kaio Numi and wins by submission with a sleeper. They have good chemistry. That's another thing I'm doing here when we have these weekly shows is, you know, put pairs of people together and see if we can figure out who has good chemistry with who, as well as trying to make sure that they never get, you know, rusty. You know, that's kind of the hope. A 25 match rating, so decent opener. We then move on. We have a Russ Haas promo. He comes up. He talks about what happened before, saying, you know, Charlie's not here now, and I know Paul isn't here, but I know Cross is here, and I'm going to fight him tonight, and I'm going to beat him tonight. You know, make up for what happened, 3 days earlier at the big event, and they have their match, and sure enough, Russ Haas defeats Jason Cross in a 24-minute match. They had a long match here. A 45 segment rating. Russ Haas gets the victory. A 42. Financial report, $85. Alright, and in the final show of the month in front of 80 people, we have Air Paris, the current NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, coming out and with the belt, saying he's going to defend it tonight in front of this crowd against kind of an open challenge format. And he does that at the beginning of the show, and he's going to come out later, and we're going to see who he's going to have to face. And that's it for the show tonight, that wise. Oh, that's horrible. Lufisto defeated Daisy Hayes in just under 7 minutes with a sleeper for a 16. Just awful. Oh, God, that's even worse. Oh, that's because they're both rusty. Oh, this is a shit show. A 28. Okay, well, that didn't do well. That was bad. That was a bad show. The least I could do is try to get something out of this. Yep, they seem pleased. We made $125. No popularity change, because we didn't gain any popularity. Well, okay, well, there's a monkey wrench, is that sometimes that just isn't gonna work now, is it? IWA made an offer to Ron Killings, which has been accepted, as you can see up there. He joins. Oh, and it also says up there, too. Alliance match, we took on Rick Michaels and Stone Mountain with Ray Traylor and won, I assume. And then we wrestled in a weird 8-man tag match. Samoa Joe is now a regular wrestler, and that's that. All right, cool. That's simple. How much money did we make this month? We made 1,200 bucks. Wow, that's better than I had actually had anticipated. I'm not gonna lie. Granted, you know, we were making almost 1,000 last time, and that was running a single show. But now, ooh, that was all the way up to $2,000. We're supposed to be making close to 25 on the sponsorship income, so that's really good. Merchandise. We sold almost $1,000 in merchandise. Hell yeah. We definitely take that. If you look at it, our merchandise paid for itself, and it also paid for production for the most part. That is going to be it for this episode. We're already at about half an hour, which surprises me. Other than, again, there was a lot of explaining at the front end, which isn't going to be there in the previous ones. But again, if that leads to just shorter videos in total, I'll be fine with that. I'm sure you will be too, because it'll be more digestible. But we'll just have to see how it all shakes out. But I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next one, where we begin in June, where we already apparently have a show. So we're going to have 5 weekly events and a major event. We're going to have 6 events in this next month, and we're going to see how that goes too. So I'll see you then.